Welcome, everybody. It is Friday the 13th. I'm Kevin Rouch. It's the Daily Scrum. We're coming to you from Studio B in the Elmwood Media Complex. Again, Friday, June 13th. How wacky will it be? On the slide today, and we didn't do him any favors, we think that getting on our slide that we put up while we do our audio, we think that's good luck. We just had that happen with John Kenzie Noel for the Clippers. After we had him up there, he went off the next day, which we'll talk about today. But today it's Cam Simmons from New Albany High School making a catch in the outfield, and unfortunately New Albany did not win today, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we're sorry, but we got Cam on there anyway, hoping to give him and the team some good mojo to win. But sadly, the season, a very successful season, comes to an end. Again, we'll talk about that in just a second. Couple of things to announce, and really big news, and should be taken as such. A couple of Blue Jackets were named to the NHL, or named to a couple of different NHL All-Star teams. Zach Werenski was named to the first All-Star team. The first, I take that back, the second skater to be named to the first All-Star team, and the fourth player to be named. But let's go through that because he is the first skater to be on the All-Star team. What that means is that Sergei Bobrovsky made the team. We don't think of him as a skater, although you got to skate while you're out there. But Bobrovsky made the first team in 2012/13 and 2016/17. And that makes Werenski the first skater to be on the first team. A couple have been on the second team. Actually, one other, Seth Jones, was on the second team in 17/18. Goaltender Steve Mason was on the second team in 08-09. Now, the great thing about this is it adds to those almost awards that he has won this year. So he's on the first team All-Star team, first skater to do that for the Blue Jackets. He was second in the Norris Trophy voting for best defenseman. Cale Makar of Colorado won that, kind of going away. And he did Werenski a first place vote for the Hart Trophy, which is the most valuable player to a player's team. That's a big deal. Hart Trophy is the big one. And it was won this year by Connor Hellebuck, the goalie for Winnipeg. So Werenski having a heck of a year. First team All-Stars, second in the Norris Trophy, got a first place vote in the Hart, and should have got all those things, maybe more. I think he should have won the Norris Trophy. I think he's worthy of more than that in votes in the Hart Trophy. Certainly glad to see him on that first team where he belongs. He meant everything to this team as players got hurt, and of course going through the unspeakable tragedy of the Gaudreau brothers' deaths. Werenski was a bright star on this team, and the thing that always impressed me in the room was that with Boone Jenner, the captain, out with an injury, those tough interviews on those days when the team did not play well, usually the team called upon Zach Werenski to talk to the media. And people get snippets of that. I was in the room quite a bit, and I can tell you, he's as tough as you think he is. And yet he has as much poise as you think he does. So he is one of those guys that, if you want your kids to play sports and have an example, in my opinion, I think he is at the very top. Plays hard and it used to be that people didn't think he played all that hard. And he's one of those guys that when he plays, he glides. And you go, hey, is he working on it? And you go, well, he just made it to the other end of the ice like right now. And he goes into tough areas and he plays the 200-foot game, both offense and defense. When he plays defense, he just shuts people down. And it's just graceful. So hats off to Zach Werenski for all the honors he's received this year. Well-deserved. Probably should have been more. Just that good this year. The other guy named to an all-star team is Denton Matejchuk, who was named to the all-rookie team. Fourth skater, sixth player in Blue Jacket history to do that. Let's see if we'll play a little game as we go through here. Who were the others to be named to this team? Well, it was Rostislav Klesla, the very first one, then Rick Nash, Steve Mason, Werenski, and Elvis Merzlikins. But Matejchuk becomes the second, or the fourth skater, sixth player to do that. Second guy we're talking about today. So, again, congrats to Zach Werenski and Denton Matejchuk for all they did this year. And Matejchuk did it in kind of an abbreviated way because he played, let's see, let me get the exact, I want to get this right. He 45 appearances with the Blue Jackets this year, so a little more than half of the games, and still was named to the all-rookie team. That's pretty good. That means you've made an impact in the other half greatly, and he did. So we'll see how that moves forward. Let's get Werenski a Norris Trophy. That's what I say. And then someday let's win that Stanley Cup and get him a heart. Okay. Speaking of all that, the NHL playoffs. Sorry, don't mean to do that every time. Edmonton, what a huge win. If you watch that game, that was, I watched the whole thing. It was an entertaining game from the beginning, and you thought it wasn't going to be that way. Edmonton came back from a 3-0 deficit. Florida scored 3 goals in the first period, and it looked as though things were not going to go well. Kind of turned the sound down a little bit. I started to work on a couple of the things for the website. Looked up, and before you know it, it was 3-3 because Edmonton scored 3 times in the second period. In the third period, Edmonton took their first lead of the game, up 4-3, and then just to make the script a little bit more interesting, Florida scores late in the third period with an empty net to tie it at 4. And then Leon Draisaitl gets the OT winner. Fighting off a player coming down the right side, just had one hand on the stick, kind of shoved it toward the net. And it banked off a Florida player who kind of rode it into the net past Bobrovsky, and the win 4-3. I'm sorry, 5-4 in overtime. 5-4 in overtime. So the series even now at 2-2. They will go back to Edmonton for Game 5. That is Saturday, tomorrow, at 8 o'clock on TNT. So, after that just awful game on Monday, and I don't mean awful because Edmonton didn't win. I mean awful just the way it was played and all the fights, and just awful. It was 180 degrees from that, much as it was early on in the first 2 games of this series, and just fantastic game last night. So tomorrow night, Game 5, they move back to Edmonton for this one. Tonight, we get back to the NBA in a series that I think if you watched the first quarter of each game, you would say that Oklahoma City's up 3-0. You might even say that if you watch through 3 periods, and a lot of them. But instead, it's 2-1 Pacers. And the Pacers, the game tonight is in Indianapolis, where they won game 3. Now, the comeback in the fourth quarter was all quarter, not just at the end. So it was not like their first win in the series. But let's see. If they go up 3-1, people will try to go back on tape saying they gave them, and what I mean by they, the pundits in the sport will go back and say, oh, we saw it. They didn't see it. Nobody saw it. But the Pacers have done it, and they will go at it again tonight. That game in Indianapolis starts at 8:30 on ABC with the Pacers up 2-1. So we hope you have a chance to watch a little bit of that tonight. We'll talk about all this stuff on Monday as well. U.S. Open going on just outside Pittsburgh. It's literally going on as we speak. Jason Day. Yesterday, he played late, so we weren't able to talk about him much, but he was 3 over. No, I take that back. He was 6 over. He shot a 76. Today, he has one of the better rounds as he just ended at shooting a 67, and that's why I saw +3. That's what he is now, +3. The cut line is probably going to be +7. So Jason Day just played himself into a good spot at +3. The leaders are at, well, J.J. Spawn, who was -4 in his first round, played well, is -1 today through 6. So he leads the tournament at -5. Tristan Lawrence from South Africa is -4. Sam Burns had a really good round at 65. He's -3. So the leaders are playing okay. It looked as though everybody might go over par today. Sam Burns is the one who has the best round at 5 under today. The other person that we're keeping an eye on beside Jason Day who will make the cut, we are watching Maxwell Moldovan. And he, through 6 holes, through a third of his round, he shot 6 over, as did Jason Day yesterday. Moldovan is still at 6 over, and he is even through 6. That's pretty good. And he's got a shot to play with. At least that's what the projected cut. There's some people thinking it might go even a little higher, but you can't bank on that. By just shooting even today through 6, he has moved up 33 spots. And that's what kind of course it has been. If you've watched any of it, the rough is 5-6 inches high. You can literally lose your ball in the rough. And boy, players, and you don't have to have that bad a shot to be in that. Just terrible, terrible rough. So that's what's going on. Moldovan, of course, an Ohio State grad just last year. His third U.S. Open, though. Jason Day, as we know, is a major winner. He won the PGA 10 years ago. And but he played well today, -3 today to get him to +3 overall and well within the cut line. So that's what's going on in the national scene with some local flavor. But now let's go back and let's bring it all back into a little bit more local. Big announcement yesterday from Ohio High School. That's the OHSAA. They the board voted on, and this, by the way, is on our site. You can read about this on our site, as you can about the Blue Jackets. You won't get all that back and forth like I just did. But on our website, talking about Werenski and Matejchuk. That story is up. We also have one, as I mentioned, on Ohio High School, just underneath the white bus on our screen. But changes to the football playoffs. A lot of us complained that 16 teams in each region, that was just too much. You had some really bad first-round playoff games between 1 and 16. And it made it difficult, especially when in the upper divisions where there might be 17 teams in a region. You could have a winless team making the playoffs. So Ohio High School listened to that. They have now reduced the qualifiers in each division to 12, in each region, I should say, to 12. Again, we have 7 divisions in it, and there are 4 regions in each division, so 28. The top 12 in each region will make the playoffs rather than 16. In the first round, you get the top 4 teams will get a bye. And then they'll jump back into it in week 2. And instead of the first 2 games being at the better seed, the first 2 rounds going to the better seed, it will be the first 3 rounds. So we won't go to a neutral site until the 4th round. That's a big deal. You're going to get another home crowd. You're going to you get a benefit from being in the top 4 teams, get a week of rest. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So I think that's good. 16, I think it was just too many, and that's what I heard wherever I went. So it goes to 12. Top 4 get a bye. Home games for the first 3 rounds. Clippers got back on the winning side last night. Really kind of put the whole, again, we've got a story on this. You see Parker Messick, the left-hander, the good picture there. I think John Hulkenberg took that picture for us. And the Clippers get a 7-1 victory at Salem Field in Buffalo, beating the Bisons. John Kenzie Noel, who has just come back down from the Cleveland Guardians, he had 2 home runs. His first 2 games back in the Clippers uni, not great for him, but last night he found his legs and hit 2 out of the ballpark to notch 4 runs batted in that 7-1 victory. Great job by him. Petey Halpin, who, since he was moved into the leadoff spot for Columbus, has just been great. He hit a home run, a solo shot, and I believe that led off the game. So Petey Halpin, his first time, this is his first year in AAA, hit another home run. We got CJ Kafis hit a home run last night, and Jake Anchia, a sacrifice fly. So that accounted for the 7. Parker Messick did not get to 5 innings. He went 4.2. That's 4 2/3 innings. Did not figure into the decision. Will Dion had a couple of innings in relief. He got the win. And some more good pitching at the end of the night. Zach Kent closed things out, retiring the 3 batters that he faced. So good pitching, good hitting last night. Good to see John Kenzie Noel get back onto the winning side. That is always a tough name, by the way, when we're writing the stories, because his name starts J-H. And you want to mess that up. Your typewriter. Who has a typewriter? Your keyboard wants you to mess that up. Every once in a while. If I say the word slacks today, we're just ending the show. But that's the way I feel today. I talk about sitting on the Davenport. There'll be a lot of stuff we could talk about. So anyway, Clippers, good job last night. They'll go right back at it tonight. Now, here's the cool thing about tonight. Both sides of the aisle on this one. In Columbus will have a brand new AAA start, his first ever, for Austin Peterson, who has done extremely well in AA with Akron, well below a 2 earned run average. So he'll get the start tonight, but here's who he's going to face. On a rehab assignment from Toronto will be 3-time Cy Young Award winner Max Scherzer. Or Scherzer. If you're German, you would pronounce that Scherzer. But Max Scherzer will pitch tonight for Buffalo. A reason to turn that on. Again, you can watch it for free on the Bally app, or if you have MLB or MILB.TV, or you could just listen, like I will, to Ryan Mitchell on 920. That is Fox Sports 920 AM. But again, Austin Peterson, who is a good one, and he's 6'6", big guy. He'll be throwing for Columbus, maybe a future star in the Guardians. I was going to say stratosphere, but that's not right. In their ecosystem. No, that sounds dumb too. Well, anyway, he plays in their system. There it is. Austin Peterson tonight for the Clippers, and 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Seems kind of unfair. Max Scherzer will go for Buffalo. He's on a rehab assignment. High school baseball. Newark Catholic came from behind yesterday to beat Tiffin Calvert. So the Green Wave moves on to the state finals. They will play Minster tomorrow at Akron's Canal Park in that early game, 10 a.m. So Newark Catholic and Minster will play for all the marbles tomorrow morning at Canal Park in Akron. Just found out New Albany Falls today. So close. Steele High School, that's with an E at the end, out of Amherst, Ohio. New Albany Falls in 10 innings, 3-2. That was at Thurman Munson Memorial Stadium. And just, well, that was an early game. It was a 10 o'clock game, so it's been over for a little bit. But, whoa, heartbreaking. 3-2 loss. New Albany came back to tie that one up. And I think tied it up in the seventh. And then the winner decided, unfortunately, goes to Amherst Steele High School in 10. So New Albany, another great season for the Eagles, and this time just falling one game short of a championship. It's tough because when you have a really good year, but your last, we always talk about that, unless you win the whole thing, your last game is a loss, and that's just hard sometimes. But New Albany, great year. Olentangy plays their semifinal tomorrow against Lakota West. That will be at 4 o'clock at Thurman Munson in Canton. So if you can make it up there, cheer on the Braves. They got Lakota West tomorrow. Newark Catholic playing tomorrow in the morning that'll be a final game. Ohio State at the NCAA track and field finals. We mentioned yesterday that early on in the men's, they did not make it to finals. Actually, DJ Fillmore in the long jump, that is a final. He finished 19th in the long jump. But on the women's side, yesterday, good things happening. Leah Bertrand finished third in her 100-meter heat. She ran 10.91 seconds. That's just fast. And she qualifies for the final. She also qualified in the 200 meters, running a personal best 22.54. That's second all-time on the Buckeye list. And good enough to get her in the final. So Leah Bertrand will be running for the Buckeyes in both the 100 meters and 200 meters. And I believe that is tomorrow. Check, though. Could be tonight, but I think it's tomorrow. Janella Spencer also qualified for the finals. Her event is the 100-meter hurdles. She placed 9th, but that gets her into the finals. 12.95 seconds. So both Leah Bertrand and Janella Spencer will be running in the finals. In the fast finals, as I know, the people that have to run really fast. 100 meters is... The interesting thing about the 100 meters is just to see them not even break stride and going over the hurdle. Might be the hardest thing to do. You've got to concentrate on steps and then the height of the hurdle. Crazy. Looking at a couple more people will be doing their things. We've got Tanner Watson, who's going to be in the men's discus, and Amaya Ugarte in the women's high jump. That'll be tonight. The high jump, and I believe the discus is tomorrow for Tanner Watson. But the men's discus for Tanner Watson, the women's high jump, Amaya Ugarte, and she'll do that on Saturday. So I guess tomorrow is Saturday, so they'll both be doing Saturday. I marked one here just to tell you why I sound so stupid. I marked one as tomorrow, one as Saturday, although, as though those were different days. So there you go. Anyway, we'll be looking for that. We hope that people will be tuning it in. It's Friday the 13th. just has entered into this room. You know what? That gets us all the way through, and thank goodness to today's trivia question. Next week, by the way, lots of guests that will hopefully make me sound way smarter, and it won't be the 13th, so that's a possibility. Okay, yesterday we asked you, who hit the most home runs? We were talking about high school baseball all day, so who hit the most home runs in a high school career? Who hit the most home runs in a high school career? The record for that is 75, set by Jeff Clement of Marshalltown High School in Iowa. He did that between 1999 and 2002. He broke the previous record held by Drew Henson, who we remember as the quarterback at Michigan and also played in the Yankees organization and for the Yankees. But Jeff Clement had 75. His team from Marshalltown went to the Little League World Series. He won the Johnny Bench Award for the best collegiate catcher. He played at USC. And then he spent 7 years in Major League Baseball. Remember, he had 75 home runs in his high school career. In his 7-year Major League Baseball career, he hit 14. So you just never know the way it's going to go. But he spent 7 years in the big leagues, so that's nothing to write home about. No, it is something to write home about. So Jeff Clement, 75 home runs in his high school career. Our question today, because we were talking about Leah Bertrand, who will be running sprints in the finals for Ohio State at the NCAA championships in Eugene, Oregon. Our question today is, who is the woman who holds the 100-meter dash world record? So who is the woman who holds the 100-meter world record? And I will tell you, don't look in the last few years for the answer. And this woman is a legend. So you can probably answer this off the top of your head if you really thought about it. So that's the question. Who's the woman who holds the 100-meter world record? We're going to have to answer that on Monday when it's not Friday the 13th anymore. I always feel like in these circumstances, if you remember Johnny Carson, well, some of you will remember Johnny Carson, and he would pull the mic down and start talking when things were not going well. I already have the mic in front of my face, so I'm not sure what to do, but maybe it's just exit stage left. However you feel about it, that's how we're going to have to end it today. Lots to watch over the weekend. You know, Mondays, we always wrap all that up. So we hope you'll be there then. We've got a bunch of guests next week. We're going to talk about some projects that we're into. Stuff going on. If you have anything you want to let us know about, you know, you can always write us at info@cbussports.com. That's info@cbussports.com. There's 2 S's in the middle, one at the end. We hope that you'll do that. But more important, we hope all the fathers out there have a great Father's Day on Sunday. Look forward to talking to my 4 youngsters. But we hope you enjoy it. This is Kevin Rouch in Studio B on behalf of the Daily Scrum. Good afternoon, everyone.